Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for attending our first time homebuyer seminar this morning. My name is Devante Daniels. I am a realtor on the Thomsen team at Modern Realty Partners. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
My name is Abdul. I'm a realtor from Modern Realty Partner on the Thomsen team.
And good morning, I'm Victoria Andes, mortgage lender at TriCity National Bank.
And we're excited to walk you guys through the home buying process and give you some details about the down payment assistance programs that are available. So purchasing your first home, it is a huge milestone and it comes with many different benefits. A few of those benefits would be investment benefits or financial benefits and personal satisfaction. So some of those investment benefits will be you're building equity over time. So instead of paying rent to your landlord and that going into his pockets, you'll be paying your mortgage and building up that equity. Also, the profits from home values increasing are often greater than any other form of investing, even the stock market. And with homeownership comes stability. As you may know, rents tend to increase almost every year. Whereas once you are locked into a mortgage, those will typically remain stable. So other than investment or financial benefits, you get a lot of personal satisfaction out of owning a home. You get a sense of pride from a home ownership. You should be proud. It's yours. It's a major milestone. You also get to enjoy more privacy in your own home. You won't necessarily have a landlord giving you 24-hour notice to enter your unit. Owning a home is a sign of independence and achievement. Again, you're not underneath a landlord or even living at your parents' house. And again, it's a major milestone. It's a big deal. And you are investing in your future. So what is the home buying process? The home buying process, it may seem intimidating or even a little confusing at first, but once you break it down step by step, it becomes a lot more manageable. So first, you'll want to get pre-approved with a lender so that you are aware of your budget, how much you can afford. Once you're approved with a lender, you'll want to find the right realtor to help guide you through the home buying process. It's especially important for you as a first-time home buyer to find a realtor that is knowledgeable and that is the right fit for you. After you find the right realtor, you will start house hunting and you will eventually make an offer. And then you will also receive an accepted offer. After you receive an accepted offer, you will go through the contingency period. And finally, you will go to closing where you will receive the keys to your very first home. So for the first step, I'll pass it off to Victoria to go over the lending process.
Thank you, Devante. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I've been doing this for 42 years. So yes, I started, I was at the age of 10. But I've been working with people getting into their first home, second homes, and retirement type homes for a long time. I have been with TriCity for 7 years. I work out of the Blue Mound office across from on Calhoun and Blue Mound there. And then I also do cover the Menominee Falls office. We have about 7 lenders at TriCity and we cover multiple branches. So I'm going to kind of go through slides regarding a summary. This is part of what we do at TriCity in our first-time home buying programs. So if you get to the point when you're ready and you want to give me a call, you've kind of gone through it already, that you will get basically a certificate, which would give you money off closing costs. And we do have a first-time home buying program that allows you up to $1,000 off closing costs. So keep that in mind when you're ready. I'm going to leave some cards with the team here so that if you need contact information, you could give me a call. So when you go through the process of looking for a loan, I like to sit down with my customers. There's different types of programs. Everyone's typically aware of the conventional fixed rate financings, which is provided through Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae of the world. So those are considered conventional fixed rate. Underneath the conventional fixed rate is the Freddie Mac first time home buying program, which is Home Possible. And I'm going to kind of just summarize these and get into a little bit of the nitty gritty a little bit later. There's adjustable rate mortgages, which are considered ARMs. Those are loans that are fixed for a certain portion of time before the rate changes. but they have a niche for some people. WIDA is put out by the Wisconsin Housing Economic Development Association, and they offer first-time home buyers sometimes up to 100% financing. They'll do a 97% first and a 3% second. So really, as a home buyer, all you need to come in is a couple $1,000s in closing costs. There's the FHA loan. Everyone's pretty familiar with that type of loan. That's got some restrictions on it. VA and USDA loans. So those are kind of different types of mortgages out there. How much money we need to bring into purchase? And this is what the big question is when it's a first-time home buyer, especially in our market. As we were talking yesterday, first-time homes used to be 150 to 200, 225. And now those prices in the city of Waukesha are 3 to 350 for first-time home. So this is what you have to come in with. On the conventional fixed rate loans, this is the Freddie Macs and Fannie Mae's, they require with that home possible 3% down. ARMs, which are Tri-City's portfolio loans, we lend that money, there's a 5%. WIDA is 3%, FHA is 3.5%. And then the VA and USDA is no money down. So on top of the down payment, you have to have the closing costs and your prepaids. Prepaids are things like your interim interest from the day you close until the first of the month, taxes, insurance, those are considered homeowners insurance prepaid items. With less than 20% down, you do have what's called private mortgage insurance. And what I can say is it's a small premium, but it is added to your monthly payment. And that's for not to the entire life of the loan, except for one. That is only when you get to 20% down, and then you can request it be dropped. And then also, most of them require 2 months of principal and interest reserve. So they want to make sure that you have money in the bank in the event something happens. So let's start with the conventional fixed rate so you get an idea. The term is 15, 20, or 30 years with the 5% down. And this is where I talked about that home possible first-time home buying program is 3% down. We already talked about less than 20%. You have to have private mortgage insurance. On this type of loan, interest rate is fixed for the whole term. So the interest rate the buyer can obtain will be determined by their credit score and down payment. So when I have sit down with my customers, I can kind of give them a rate. And then once they do a pre-approval, typically the rate is a daily thing that changes. So it's something that I can say, hey, it's been around 6.875 for a while, but you can't actually lock the rate in until you get an offer to purchase and it's accepted, because then it's locked for a certain period of time, and then we need to deliver that loan to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. And these loans are serviced by TriCity National Bank. We just introduced as an option for customers service released loans, which are loans that we would close and then kind of like a mortgage broker sell that servicing. And it's becoming a little popular because it is a little bit lower interest rate. But we still have a lot of customers who like to be able to call me or call our servicing department and say, hey, where's my escrow check? My insurance guy didn't get the premium. So that's something we talk about one-on-one when we sit down. There's the WIDA loan, which is also a 30-year fixed rate. And this is through Wisconsin. It's for first-time home buyers who haven't owned any property titled in their name in the last 3 years. It is sold to WIDA once we close, and they do offer those loan down payment options, which I talked about. You could do a first for 97 and a second for 3%. So you potentially could get 100% financing. FHA is also a 30-year fixed rate loan. FHA we're finding is a little bit of a niche for people who might have lower credit scores. They'll work with that on that type of basis. So we do find some of our first-time home buyers, their credit might not be immaculate. They might have been past due on some charge cards or a car loan. We still might be able to get them in through an FHA loan, but we might need to work with you and get kind of a blueprint to get to that point if there's other items like collections or judgments, things like that. FHA, the only downfall they have is they have an upfront PMI premium that you have to pay, plus the monthly premium. And this is also just change regulations. You're required to keep PMI for the life of the loan, or as long as you have an FHA loan until you refinance. They'll do 1 to 4 family occupied. This is a program that we do sell to our investor, Town Mortgage Company. And be aware, on most of these government loans, the home through inspection and appraisal is scrutinized much more. Code items have to be fixed. You know, I mean, they get pretty picky. So realtors in the room, be patient, because you know you're gonna have to go back to the sellers and say these have to be fixed.
Do you think that's ready?
Yep, yep. VA loan is great. I've done VA loans, 100% financing for our veterans. There's no monthly private mortgage insurance. It is a 30-year fixed rate loan. They do have a funding fee based on the service they've done in the military, but that's typically, we can roll that into the loan. It's serviced release, so it does go to Town Mortgage. And again, another government loan, so appraisals, inspections are more scrutinized. So with some of these loans now, we're going to get into some of the down payments. The down payment assistance, just to let you know, typically will be city-based, county-based. You can layer down payment assistance with certain programs. So the first one is the Housing Cost Reduction Initiative, also we call it Hickory. It can be used with WIDA and Home Possible. The grant is forgivable over 5 years. So as long as you live in the home for 5 years, this loan would be totally forgivable. If for some reason you move out before the 5 years, they're going to prorate it 20% payment per year. So if you're there 2 years, they're going to forgive 40%. You pay 60% back as part of the closing proceeds. It's like a payoff would be called for. It is limited to specific counties, and it is restricted to income based. So you're going to find out with down payment assistance, they're either income based or need based, sometimes both. This has a restricted incomes based on your household size. So if you're a single parent with 4 kids, you're going to have a greater amount that you can qualify for. The Home Consortium, this is Waukesha County based. It can be used with WIDA and Home Possible. Again, grants forgivable over 5 years. It's limited to specific counties. And again, it is restricted also in income and household size. This one, Hickory is usually about, they change it, but 8,000. Home Consortium is a 10,000. Then there's Down Payment Plus. I think we were one of the few banks last year that still had money to give. This is a $10,000 grant. You have to contribute 1,000 of your own funds on most of these grants, but especially on down payment, again, up to 10,000. It can be layered with grant programs. Again, another 5-year forgivable with income based on your household and how many people are in your household. Then there's the City of Milwaukee grant. Again, as you can kind of see, as you go through these down payments, a lot of them have the same qualification. $1,000 of your own fund. It can be layered. It's a 5-year forgivable, income based, and you must live currently in the city and buy in the city. That's one of their restrictions. They don't want people moving into the city and getting it. They want to maintain who's in there. So here's where WIDA gets into a little bit more into theirs. They, along with providing the first mortgage, then they'll provide 1 of 2 seconds. They'll do a easy close, which is a second mortgage, but this is a loan that would be a monthly premium. It is amortized over 10 years and it is the same interest rate as the first, but this would pick up, you know, the initial 3%. The capital access down payment assistance is income based, just like WIDA is, but there's no payment attached to this. It just sits out there and it gets paid off when the home is sold or you refinance it. So I did a loan, I've done 2 of these where I've layered them. One customer got 30,000 in grants and another customer got 23,000 in grants. So it really depends upon, this is really gearing toward first-time home buyers, lower income, who want to get into hopefully a condo or something that they can at least start building some equity, as Devante talked about. That's the whole point of it. Get in and build your own equity. So that's kind of the summary of down payments and what happens. So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me. You are working with a great team at Modern Realty led by Tanya Thomsen. So they'll have my cards. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and do the pre-approval. So thank you for your time this morning.
All right, perfect. Now let's talk about finding the right realtor. You need to check few things. First of all, you need to make sure your realtor is licensed in the state of Wisconsin. That means they met standard ethical and legal practice. And next, you need to make sure to check for ABR, Aggressive Buyer Representative Designation. This means they receive specialized training on how to better serve you, the buyer. Next, let's talk about availability. The real estate market is a fast-moving pace market. Availability is crucial. Our team structured to sort that if your primary agent is temporarily unavailable, one of our team members can step up and assist you for question or concern. That ensures you always have support for showing and questions. Next, let's talk about knowledge of the local market. You need somebody that knows the area that you're interested in. We have team in Waukesha and Madison area. Our team cover the whole Southeast area, and our team have deep and ground knowledge of the local market. This understanding of the neighborhood trend and hidden gem help us pinpoint the right neighborhood and home for you. Finally, let's talk about communication. Communication is essential to a stress-free process. That's why we have our transaction manager. They oversee detail and make sure all deadline and contingency are due on time. And most importantly, they keep you informed of the process, freeing up your agent to focus on finding you the right home and negotiate the best deal. Now, after you find the right realtor, you need to start thinking about how you want them to represent you. That's when agency relationship come in. Most people don't realize that in Wisconsin, all realtors work on the behalf of the seller until a buyer hired that agent as a buyer agent. That's why it's important to communicate openly with your realtor about the agency relationship with you. The good part about it, you can hire an agent, a buyer agent. This agent works exclusively for you and have your best interest at heart toward the whole entire buying process. Now, picking back up for agency duty, the agency relationship. Now, regardless of who the agent represent, they have ethical and legal obligation. When working with the realtor as a customer, you can think of them as a referee. So they owe few duty to you. For example, duty of keeping all information confidential, duty of fair and honest treatment, duty of reasonable care and skill, duty of disclosing any adverse facts. The material adverse facts is anything that will affect significantly the value of the home. They also have a duty of provision of accurate market condition and safeguard of fund held by broker. And finally, they have a duty of objective presentation of offers. Now, if you hire an agent, a buyer agent, you can think of them as your coach and advocate. Working with the realtor as a client, they owe extra duty on top of owing you the duty they owe to a customer. They also owe extra duties, such as loyalty. So that means they only represent you, the buyer. They don't represent the seller anymore. Duty of disclosing any material information. So that means if we find any information that's alarming and that might affect your decision, we make sure to point it out. Duty of provision advice information when requested. So that means if you have us for our honest opinion, we can give you advice on it and give you our honest opinion. And most importantly, being able to negotiate on your behalf. This gives you the most protection. Now, picking back up, just let you know that as August 17 of 2024, there's a key important rule change in how you will interact with realtor while viewing home. The key change is that all buyers must have agency disclosure signed prior to viewing the home. So to meet this requirement, you might counter a few documents, such as the pre-showing form. The pre-showing form allows realtor to show you home while you're still thinking about how you will want them to represent you. If you want them to represent you as a buyer agent, or if you want to let them represent the seller. You might also counter a document called customer disclosure. This allows realtors to show you home and negotiate and write the offer. But just let you know, they represent legally the seller. Finally, you might counter buyer agency agreement. This gives you the most protection, just because it allows a realtor to show you home, write offers, and most importantly, be able to negotiate on your behalf. to get you the best deal. All right, after that, I will pass it to my team member, Devante Daniels, that will talk about touring the home.
Thank you. So once you've decided which agency relationship works best for you and the realtor, the fun part starts. You'll start house hunting. So to start your home search, you'll first want to think about what is home to you. Is that a single family home, a condo, or maybe even a duplex? There are all great options. So for a single family home, that's a great option if you want more privacy, you don't want to share walls with your neighbors, and you also want some land with your home. A condo, on the other hand, is a great option if you're not quite ready for that single family home. It still allows you to get out of the rent trap where you're not paying your rent every month and it's going into your landlord's pockets. You're instead paying your mortgage and, again, building up your equity. And I mentioned a duplex because that is a great introduction into investing. With a duplex, you can do what is called house hacking, where you live on one side and you rent out the other. And the idea behind this is that the rent from the other side will help pay for some, if not all, of the mortgage. Now, once you're done with your duplex, you're ready to move on, you can either sell it or you can rent out both sides and you'll have your first investment property. So once you've identified what home is to you, you'll want to start to think about what are your must-haves versus your nice-to-haves. A must-have is something you absolutely need in your home. You cannot live without. It's a non-negotiable. Whereas nice-to-haves are things that you would like, but you don't necessarily need. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for a home. After you've identified those, you'll also want to think about where do you want to live? Is that a specific county, specific community or neighborhood, or maybe even that's a certain commute to work? Where do you see yourself living? And along with those, you'll also want to think about the timeframes that you have to move. If you are renting, you'll typically want to start the process months before your lease ends. That way you don't end up feeling rushed and having to make a rushed decision, because this is a big decision. And you'll want to think about the future resale of your home. If you don't plan on living in your home forever, will it be easy to sell down the road? So once you've identified all of these things, you'll discuss with your realtor and they will set up a search in MLS, our multiple listing service portal. So in MLS, you will get timely updates. You will also, this is also the only place where you can see delayed listings or listings that are coming soon. And you can receive automatic emails where once a house that fits your criteria hits the market, you will automatically be notified. Once you have your search set up in MLS, you'll start seeing homes and you'll find a home that you're interested in. That is when you set up a showing. For showings, you always want to have your realtor reach out to the listing side to get that scheduled. Even if it's for sale by owner, you want your realtor to be the first point of contact on that listing side. That allows them to continue to work on your behalf. You'll also see that some listings have open houses. It is 100% okay for you guys to attend those open houses. Just make sure that when you are asked to sign in, you sign in with your realtor's information. That way the agent who's hosting the open house knows that you're already working with somebody. And trust your realtor to find the homes that meet your criteria. They have the systems and expertise in place to do so. Once you've gone out on showings, you'll eventually find a home that you are interested in, and it's time to make an offer. Making an offer can be exciting, emotional, and it can be a little complicated at sometimes. That's what we are here for. Your realtor will guide you in drafting a strong competitive offer using the Wisconsin state-approved offer to purchase forms. Sometimes once you turn in an offer, the seller may decide to counter you. Once you receive a counter, you will meet with your realtor again and negotiations may take place. This is why it's important to have that buyer agency, because once you sign the buyer agency agreement, that allows your realtor to work on your behalf and negotiate for you. When it comes to drafting an offer, Plan to set aside about an hour of your time. That's typically how long it will take. And this can be done either via Zoom or in person. So next I'll pass it back to Abdul to discuss what happens after it gets accepted.
All right, let's talk about once your offer get accepted. First of all, this is a great milestone. You can do your happy dance, whatever you need to do. This is a great milestone. You should be happy. But there's a few key important steps you should remember before attending closing. For example, you must remember to submit the earnest money. The earnest money is kind of like a down payment that good faith to the seller that you're a serious buyer. In Wisconsin, usually 1% of the purchase price, 50 to check with your realtor on the exact amount and where to drop off the earnest money. Next, you will want to schedule a home inspection with Wisconsin State Home Inspector. The inspector duty is to look at the house inside and out and make a report about the condition of the property. At the end of the inspection, he will have an inspection report that will give it to you. So people, you will want to share that inspection report actually with your realtor just for negotiation. Your realtor also might want to sit down to talk about the inspection report. Also, you must ensure all contingencies are fulfilled and met on time. The great part about it, our team, our realtors, and our transactional managers oversee all the detail and make sure contingency and deadline are due on time. So we got you on that. Next, we will work with your realtor to get a loan approval. A loan approval is kind of like a loan commitment letter that show that your lender approved your loan. Few other steps is, for example, you will want to obtain a homeowner insurance. A homeowner insurance, you will want to shop a few weeks ahead before closing, and your lender will require homeowner insurance. Next, you will want to transfer all utility, water, gas, electricity, any utility that's connected with the property to your name. And finally, your realtor will work with you on scheduling the final walkthrough. Think about the final walkthrough kind of like the last time being on the property. So make sure to check for any repair that need to be complete and make sure that all appliances, including the pre-charge of the home, is in the same condition as you expected. And finally, you will attempt the closing. I will pass it back to my team member, Devante Daniels, that will talk a little bit more about closing.
All right, so you've reached closing day. Closing is the last step before you officially become a homeowner. At your closing, you will sign all legal documents. You'll sign and review all legal documents. This is also where you will pay your down payment and any closing costs that you may have. Once you have signed all of the documents and you've paid that down payment and closing costs, you will officially receive the keys to your new home and you'll officially become a homeowner. Congratulations. And that is the end of our presentation. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions on Zoom? All right. Well, thank you guys very much for taking time out of your day and attending our seminar. If you guys would like to watch it or if you missed any information, we will have the recording on our website at www.thomsenteam.com, along with other videos such as a wealth building video as well. All right, well, again, thank you guys very much and have a great rest of your day.